Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to your Monday night. It is me, JT the Redneck. Hey, how's it going? Good to see everybody, no doubt about it. Tonight, we are back into the Avenger Pretender Marvel Universe once again for What If episodes 5 and 6. So do me a favor, get your favorite adult beverage or whatever beverage it is you like to consume, something to munch on, pop back in your easy chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show because the Redneck and the Geek are going to take you for a ride. Sully, it's all you.
A ride down that wonderful Rainbow Bridge. Yes.
No. We're not going to Rainbow Bridge.
Oh.
Rainbow Bridge is for dead pets. We're staying away from the Rainbow Bridge.
Wait.
We're just going to take you down the wormhole that is Avenger Pretenders.
Okay. Which is a pretty big wormhole to begin with anyway. But
Yes, it is.
want to say hi to Lady Death, who messaged me over the weekend about the last couple of episodes. And we'll get into all of
They
that.
were interesting for sure.
Well, I mean, you did ask the same question. So
Yes, but I waited till tonight.
And also, coming out of the
Holy
woodwork,
crap.
dusting off the cobwebs, Western Echo is finally back. Hello, sir.
Holy, that's what I said holy crap about because I saw him in the chat room.
He came back
Wow.
and he's like, yay, I can listen live.
Good to see you, man. Good to see ya.
It's good stuff. So welcome, everybody. We're going to be talking about the one and only What If Season 2. And let me tell you, before we get down into it, they're already promoting Season 3 for What If.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're already promoting for it. So
Wow.
that's going to be awesome. He says, at least a little while for today. Yay. Well, we're glad that you're back, man. Even if it is for a little bit. Okay? Even if
A little
it
bit
for
is
a
better than never.
So, yes, Season 3 is going to be, I think later this year is what they announced for Season 3. Which is great.
Really?
Jeffrey Wright will be reprising the role as Uatu, the Watcher. So that will be awesome sauce. And we had already mentioned that they got a lot of the bigger names back to do their own voices and whatnot. So yay. But
That is cool. Cool.
First of all, the animation is amazing. We know this. You know this. And yeah, it's good stuff.
You know, I'll be honest with you, and this may sound weird. This may sound very strange, but at the same time, it's coming out of my mouth, so it might not. But the animation, these last two episodes, in episodes 5 and 6, for some reason, seem to be on a different level than episodes 1 through 4.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I can't explain it. It may just be my freaking imagination, which would not be a surprise at all.
Okay.
But it just seemed to be at a little bit higher of a level.
All right. I'll
Like I said, maybe it's just me, you know.
I mean, it might be. I really didn't see a difference animation-wise. However, story-wise, oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Big
I mean,
difference.
story-wise, dude, I didn't think they could get much better than they did on episode 4.
Until 5 came out, and you went, well,
And then 5 came out, and I'm like, okay. And then 6 came out, and I'm like,
God damn it.
what in the hell?
Yeah. So let's get right down into it with episode 5, which, if you haven't watched it yet, shame on you. It's been out for over a month now.
Yes, and we're just running behind.
And this one is, what if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? Yes, Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper. Weston Echo says he's going to IMDb to remind himself which episodes were 5 and 6. Well, wait on 6. right now, number 5 is the Hydra Stomper. What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? And the cool thing about this is kind of like What If's version of Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America Winter Soldier. So
Yep.
The main thing is Captain Carter's on a mission to save Steve Rogers, and there's a whole collision course with new enemies. And this takes place right after the Chitauri attack New York. So this is present day 2012, the whole attack in New York. Yes, JT, you have the floor. Yes.
I have a question. Might be a stupid question, but I have a question.
What's your question? Ask away.
I didn't, unless I'm completely forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think Ant-Man, or in this case, Ant-Woman, was in that fight.
The Wasp.
I didn't think the Wasp's outfit was red.
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. So,
but I didn't think they were involved in that fight.
So originally, Ant-Man and the Wasp were not involved in the 2012 attack on New York. But again,
this is What If.
It's What If. It's multiple multiple timelines, multiple universes, and in this one, it's Captain Carter leading the way, calling the shots. The Avengers are making up her, Black Widow, Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, and the Wasp.
Right.
So,
that just threw me a little bit right there at the beginning, because I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't think that they were in this. Yeah, but I figured, they probably weren't, because I was pretty sure about that.
Yes.
But in the back of my head, I'm going, this is What If. So,
yes.
You could have frickin' Frosty the Snowman and Olaf being on, the side of the superheroes if they wanted to.
Yes. So, while this is happening, obviously, she's given directions on what to do and where people need to go and so on and so forth. And she says to Black Widow, all right, you and I are going to go and get Loki at Stark Tower. So, slight similarities, lots of differences. And with that all happening, the Watcher is mending the damage from Ultron's attack on the different nexus of all realities. And that was a reference to season 1. So that's where he currently is. But he also says, one of the lines, and I loved this line, was, I'm not big on sequels.
Yeah. I don't do repeats.
I don't do repeats. I don't do sequels. I'm not big on them. However, this one is my favorite.
Yeah. These, there are very few worlds that involve Captain Marvel named Peggy.
Captain Carter.
Or Captain Carter named Peggy. Sorry.
And what he does is, he talks about that. He brings them into full circle with the ending of season 1 to this episode in season 2, as he's fixing things and all the different stories that are out there, and how he recruited her for the Guardians of the Multiverse and considers her a friend. He returned her to the moment that she left. Makes sense. Because just like the Infinity Stones, you needed to return them to the exact moment in time that you took them. Because otherwise, a different reality would branch and it would be chaos. Same thing happened with the Guardians of the Multiverse. You had to bring them back. So, she thought her story was at an end. But the Watcher, and he says this is only the beginning. Only the beginning. Which makes sense. Especially
and an interesting beginning it is.
Yeah. Especially with the next couple of things going on. Now, in a reversal in a reversal of this. We see Carter driving up to pick up Black Widow as Black Widow is on her run around the grounds of Washington, D.C. and the water and, all the monuments. And it was weird because it was like, no, role reversal. Captain Carter's going to be the one who's going to be in the car this time. But we're going on the Lumerian Star and we're going to save it from pirates. So now we've still got the same similarities to Winter Soldier. Just a little flipped. Because as they take everybody out and they save all the agents that are being held kidnapped, they find why they were really there.
But they didn't know that's why they were really there.
No, they didn't know. And, because Agent Romanoff considers Captain Carter her friend and ally, not just co-worker at S.H.I.E.L.D., friend and ally, she needed to tell her that the Hydra Stomper, also known as Armor Mark II, is there.
Want to say hi real quick to the one and only Laser Man, a.k.a. Mr. Ian. Great to have him along with us in chat room. He's working, so he probably won't be able to say much, but it's great to have him along.
That's all right. We'll allow it. So from there, Romanoff does the thing of, listen, he's not the person you know. He's not. He's probably more machine than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hydra Stomper comes to life and starts to attack. Which I thought was pretty interesting, that automatically would attack Captain Carter. And then she throws her shield and hits him in the mask of the faceplate, and boom, there he is. And he looks, he looks a little bad.
He does look a little, worse for the wear, but he's been in there for a while, and he's had machines keeping him alive for the last 50 years or however long it's been.
Looks like he hasn't gotten any sleep.
But there was a whole lot of sexual tension, is the only way I can think of putting it.
In a very short scene, too.
Yes, in a very and every time it was the two of them, it was there, whether he had the mask down, whether he was Iron Man, or actually I should say whether he was Hydra Stomper or himself.
Yeah.
But it was a neat way to break it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Instead of constant fight, to have that tension there, made the episode a little more interesting.
I mean,
as it went along,
it worked.
Yes, and especially when we get to the end.
Yes. Wow.
Especially when we get to the end.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Can you look up the runtime on this episode? I'm pretty sure this one was a little bit longer than 30 minutes. Because there was a lot going on in this. But I also understand why they cut a lot of it out, too. Because you just basically got down to the nitty gritty. Because as the Hydra Stompers attacking them, they, finally it lifts off. They're running on the boat, and the Hydra Stomper just blows up the boat. So the two of them jump into the water, and they do what they need to do. When they get to the Triskelion, though, Peggy confronts Nick Fury. And she's like, hold it, time out. You told me he was dead. And he died in Argentina in 1953 while hunting down the rest of Hydra with Bucky.
And Fury is sitting there going, He did.
He did.
He did.
Right.
He did.
He did. How many? I think he said it like 4 or 5 times, right?
Yep.
Lady Death, and she be pissed off. Yes, she was.
She was not very happy.
She was not happy at all. So she's pissed at Fury. He's admitting he did. He was considered killed in action, done for. But then he goes, but there have been rumors that the Hydra Stompers' survival since the 1960s, and here's why. And it was like mass acts of terror type stuff. Yeah, I don't think they showed everything, but they were showing, you know, SHIELD agents that were killed and so on and so forth. And they thought that instead of just the Russians, it was now the Red Room. And for those that don't remember, the Red Room is the ones who are responsible for creating the Black Widows.
Right.
Including Natasha Romanoff herself. So their thought was they found the Hydra Stomper and they did exactly what they needed to in the reverse role, that instead of this happening to Bucky, this was happening to Steve Rogers, which makes sense. It's an alternate reality. I love What If. I really do.
It can throw some serious curveballs at you.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, some of the things that I've seen, you know, or that we've seen has made me go,
say what? How is this possible?
Looks like episode 5 was 37 minutes.
Okay, so it was a little bit longer than most of the other episodes, because the other ones were
they run 31 to 37 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's not that much of a difference, but if you do a 31-minute show and then do a 37-minute show, it's going to feel a lot longer. Plus, like you said, there's a whole lot going on in this episode, so that in itself is going to make that feel longer too.
Yes. You know, and the next part is, you know, aside from, you know, them fighting over how Steve Rogers is still alive at this point, you know, she's pissed. She is pissed. Western Echo says, what I find mildly amusing is how they put a flip on every MCU character throughout the series, except Fury, who is always this lying, conniving, duplicitous, manipulative shit he always is. He's the spy. He's the spy. Now, just to...
I don't think you could.
Just to kind of play on this a little bit, Echo, I am actually very surprised that they have not gotten David Hasselhoff to play his version of Nick Fury in What If yet. I'm shocked that they haven't, because I don't know if JT, I don't know if you remember this, but I certainly remember this. There was actually a Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV movie that came out on Fox years ago. Years ago. I have it on DVD because I was able to find it and I burned it. And I'm like, oh, yes. But, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for the day they finally do that and they accept him into the MCU.
Right.
I mean, after all, he is technically Star-Lord's dad.
And to kind of expound on that a little bit, I don't know if they could do. It would be hard to do an alternate ego on Fury.
Really?
I just, every scenario that we've seen in the What Ifs so far, I could see in my head. I could see happening. I can't picture anything in my head of him not being him.
Okay, so
make sense?
in your case, yes, I can understand that. I can understand that 100%. You're not used to it.
Right.
I grew up with comics. I'm used to it.
Oh, actually, runtime is only 31 minutes.
Oh, well.
For episode 5.
So, to continue on, at this point in time, Bucky is the U.S. Secretary of the State of the World Security Council. So
That's crazy.
We've got a good guy in the office instead of the bastard that took over.
Instead of the assassin
Yeah.
that he
Instead
was.
of Hydra. We know S.H.I.E.L.D. is not under control of Hydra. And he's pushing for more financial aid to Sokovia. Haha, we match up Sokovia. When Rumlow, or Crossbones, and the strike team burst in and say, dude, you're in danger. You're going to die. We got to save you. And here's why. And shortly after, we actually see the Hydra Stomper attacking the Triskelion, and Rumlow is saving Bucky, which is great.
Well, and the funny thing is they never, even in real life, they never come straight out and say, someone's coming after you. We need to get you to safety.
Yeah.
It's always, why, what's going on? Well, we think there's an attack coming on you.
Right.
It's never, dude, someone's coming to kill you. Let's get the hell out of here.
Right.
Because there might be, we have reason to believe somebody is coming after you. And you sit there and go, well, until you confirm it, I'm going to go ahead and keep doing what I'm doing because I got shit to do.
Right.
But if you were to come in and say, hey, there's somebody on their way right now to put you in the ground, I would be a little bit more apt to go, okay, let's get the hell out of here.
Who is it and why? And let's get the hell out of here because it's going to hurt like hell.
Exactly.
You can get some bumps, some bruises, some cuts, maybe fall down a flight of stairs. You know.
I like what he said because Bucky's like, guys, if you'll remember, I fought Germans, hand-to-hand combat, blah, blah, blah. And I think I can handle myself.
Yeah, not this time.
And that's when he shows up outside the window.
Yep, shows up outside his window, his old friend, and he even says, Steve? Carter comes in, saves them, they get away, which is great, and Black Widow is fighting Rogers in a Quinjet. And
everybody get out of the way. I'm going to blow this sumbitch away with my 30 millimeter Gatling guns,
They get to a point, though, where Bucky's like, let me do this. And he tries to appeal to him emotionally, like, dude, you're my best friend. Hello? I'm here for you.
Let's go have a drink like old times.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Let's go reminisce. Let's have a ball. And that doesn't work.
Oh, it kind of got to a little bit because he did
Almost.
lower his arm.
Yeah, almost. I will say almost.
Yeah, I mean, it got in there and said, tickle, and then it said, bye-bye.
Yeah. So the other thing with that is, as Captain Carter intervenes again, that prompts Steve to fly into the sky, and she manages to knock him down, and they capture him.
Right.
They capture him. I will say this. So far, the episode from start to now has been so action-packed.
Yeah, I mean the pace in this episode
Is
started off at a ridiculous level.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. From the fight at Avengers Tower, or Stark Tower, to the fight on the boat, to now, you're like, okay, what's going to happen next?
Can we take a breather, please?
Yes.
I need to go get a new bottle of oxygen.
Yes. So from there, what they decide to do is, well, they've got Steve. He's knocked out. Let's get out of here. They get to a safe house in Scotland, and Natasha and Peggy are analyzing the suit to see what exactly is going on. What's keeping him alive, why he's barely aged, the works.
Right.
From there, they activate him. Because as they keep activating him, as Natasha said, they risk him dying.
Yeah. Every time they reboot him, he's close, gets closer and closer.
Right.
Kind of like Iron Man with his thing before he got it to where it
Yes.
worked constantly.
Unlike the Winter Soldier, where all they did was wipe his brain and his memories, this was a little bit different because you've got scrawny Steve Rogers in an iron lung, pretty much.
Right.
You know? Or
an iron lung with freaking Vulcan Gatling gun on it.
Or, as they made the joke, frozen in carbonite. Great tie-in. Yeah. Star Wars is now officially part of the MCU. Just put it out there. Well, I can't say that. Technically, Empire Strikes Back was mentioned in in Civil War.
Right. So,
but great callback to Empire Strikes Back.
So that's what you do with your Saturday nights.
Yeah. Well, what else are you going to do?
Right.
But think about it. That's a great callback to Civil War because Spidey said it.
Mm-hmm.
Empire Strikes Back, the planet with the ice planet with the big walkie thingies. And now we've got Frozen in Carbonite. So there's another great reference to a fantastic movie. Yay.
Right.
But as they're talking, and Steve wakes up, and now he's talking with them, Natasha wants to get Bruce and Tony involved, and Carter's like, no.
Well, that was before he woke up.
Yeah.
And then they got into the conversation of, was it the Red Claw or whatever it is?
Yes.
And, Steve wakes up and comes up behind him and basically scares the crap out of him and says, I can take you there.
Yeah. To the Red Room, because why not?
Okay.
Why not? But at the same time, Natasha says that, I killed the head of the Red Room once.
Put a corkscrew in his neck. Yeah, I think he's dead.
I sneezed and I actually muted the button. But you saw it on camera. Sorry, guys.
At least you didn't slam your face into the mic this time.
That's true. It's down lower. Down lower now. So they go on to, and Rogers says to him, well, yeah, I can take you there. And I just want you to trust me. And Natasha's like, whoa. Time out. Bad idea. Just bad idea. So she has her reservations toward it. So now we see a tie-in because they are now at the former Sokovian military base that the Soviets used during the Cold War and World War II.
Yep, to train their agents.
And it looked like a small town in Kansas.
Which is what they did. They specifically fashioned it after a city in America.
Actually, it was a city in America, and it was actually technically one of those cities that they built to test the nuclear bombs out in the desert.
Right.
Lady Death looked like a horror movie. It did. You had the standees.
Well, especially, howdy, neighbor. I love America.
Neighbor. Yeah. Howdy, neighbor. But while they're there, Steve sends a distress call to the Red Room, and Black Widow goes, "Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you two have some alone time."
Yeah, I'm gonna go find a lemonade stand or something, and that's because remember that sexual tension I talked about?
Yes. Oh, it was full-fledged right there. It's back. Yep.
It's back and in spades.
Yes. Well, that whole wonderful scenario, they're catching up. And they're doing some good times. Good conversations. And even Carter says, how come you never moved on? Started a family like your buddy Bucky.
Right.
And that's when he says, well, you're the only girl for me. So nice.
Yeah,
So nice.
that was your aw moment.
That was your awe moment, and then your wait a second, something bad's gonna happen, because shortly after we get the
She got
spider
stung in the
bites.
neck by a wasp.
Yeah. Nope, the spider bites. The spider bites are hitting you, and if you don't know what the spider bites are, it's what Black Widow shoots out of her wrist guards, and electrocutes you. Bzzzt. So this whole scene, from start to finish, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It was a trip.
It really was.
This whole from here on out really.
Yep.
Was just a trip.
Yeah.
If you think about it and the way that this was set up and everything, one of my top episodes of What If overall.
Yes.
Overall. For now.
Yes. Which is perfectly fine. Because we have a new / old character arriving. The Red Room Academy shows up. And that's the big thing in the sky. So if you ever watched Black Widow, that's the Red Room Academy, which is why they were never able to find it on Earth. It was always up and floating like a certain, I don't know, helicarrier that S.H.I.E.L.D. owns. Same thing. But Melina Voskova shows up. Now, if you don't remember who she is technically Black Widow's mom.
Yeah. And she says that. I don't want to fight in front of my mom.
I don't want to fight in front of my mom.
I'll explain later.
Yeah. That's my mom. But she also reveals, and by the way, she was wow. Rachel Weisz reprised her role as Melina from Black Widow, so that was amazing. And she reveals that everything that has happened since the Lemurian Star was to get Captain Carter away from the Avengers and away from S.H.I.E.L.D. They want her. So, obviously, when they say, give up, or we're going to kick your ass, well, the two went, you're funny.
Right.
And they start to attack. They choose to fight. They want to get out of their situation. So the Hydra Stomper then tackles Captain Carter. She's fighting him. Black Widow is on the run throughout all the buildings, jumping over fences, jumping through windows, going through doors, out windows, running on the rooftop. You name it, she's doing it. And it's a wonderful parkour chase throughout town between these assassins. And she's just taking them out. Left and right until she gets overpowered.
Yeah, I mean, just the fight scene between Natalia and the Red Room.
Yep.
Or Natasha, sorry. If you take that part out, just that part, you've got one of the best fight scenes that Marvel has ever put on.
Sure.
Just in that.
Sure.
And it kind of jumps ahead a little bit, but not very much. I love how she managed to end the fight with all of them but Mom, because she grabs one of the arms of the robots that was shooting the spider bites at her.
Right.
And freaking shot all 6 of them with their own spider bites.
Did what they needed to do. They did what they needed to do. And the fact that she overpowered them just goes to show, and don't get me wrong, we know Black Widow is deadly.
Right.
But how many did she take out?
Well, there was, I want to say 8 of them.
Yep.
when they first came into the scene.
Yep.
So, throughout, from beginning to end of that battle scene, she took out 8
Yep.
by
Well,
herself.
While
She didn't-
that's happening,
She
though,
didn't. Yeah, she didn't get any help from.
yeah, no, she didn't. But while that's happening, Carter's also fighting Steve in the Hydra Stomper. And she's getting to the point where she's like, I don't want to fight you. She's struggling against him.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, Melina pins down Natasha and starts to choke her. And finally, Carter says, I'm tired of fighting. I just want to be with you, even if you kill me.
Even if this is the end.
Yep. Which causes Rogers to go, what? Hello? I'm awake.
How'd that go again?
Just like that. Well, think about it. It was like his brain became an Etch-a-Sketch, and it just reset itself. Boom.
Somebody clip that, please.
I'll do it again. I don't care. Bring it on.
I want that clip because that was awesome.
Refresh.
His brain just went.
My brain does that on a daily basis. But
mine does that on an hourly basis.
So from there, obviously Steve gets all emotional. And he looks up at the Red Room Academy and he goes, I gotta do this. I gotta do this.
And Peg is like, no, I don't want it to end that way.
Yep. As that's happening, he takes off. Melina sees what's going on, and Black Widow looks up and goes, oh, okay, and headbutts her. And her and Carter flee the area before the floating fortress comes to a crashing halt all the way down to the planet after Steve grabs Melina and brings her up, and boom! Explosion.
He didn't grab her. Natasha fired.
That's right, the grappling hook.
A grappling hook that wrapped around his ankle, and somehow she hooked it to her.
Yes.
And all of a sudden she's like, hey, wait a minute, yank!
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Yes. It was just like, whoop. Hey.
That was freaking awesome. That was my favorite fight of the whole. My favorite part. Yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole fight scene.
Yes.
Was the look on her face when she realized, oh shit,
I'm gonna die.
I'm in trouble.
I'm gonna die. Well, at this point in time, though, the Watcher says this may not be a happy ending, which clearly it didn't look like it is. But as you and I both know, no one ever stays dead in comics. Clearly. Because we know. Except for certain people.
Right.
But it's just the beginning for Carter, as her story is not yet over. This particular Captain Carter, her story is not over. And after all is said and done, they were what, back at Stark Tower, right? I think they were.
I think so, yeah.
So they fast forward a little bit, not too much. And Natasha catches Carter trying to steal one of Stark's cars. And Captain Carter says, you know what? He's still out there. I know he's still out there. I know he can be saved. Even if you don't agree with me. And I thought that was interesting that she said it like that.
Right.
Because Natasha automatically goes, well, I'm coming with you. I'm going to help you. Which is exactly the role reversal with Steve and Sam Wilson. We got to go find Winter Soldier. I'm coming with you. What do you want me to do? I'm signing up. I'm your buddy. I'm your wingman. So as that's happening, the Watcher says that he sees all,
I know
observes
all,
all,
I see all.
and knows all.
Hey, wait a minute. What's that?
A portal opens up beneath Peggy and swallows her up, leaving Black Widow and the Watcher confused. And the best thing with that was the Watcher said, "Well, I didn't see that coming."
Right. That was weird, because I mean, you would think, he's the one who is supposed to know and see everything that happens and or could possibly happen.
Right. Well,
and somehow he missed that.
What I loved about this, and this leads into another episode, not number 6, but what this leads into is that Carter wakes up and she finds herself looking at Nick Fury and the Scarlet Witch, who declare her to be the one to save their queen from their world. And annoyed at having been dragged from her own universe again, Carter's calling out to the Watcher.
Watcher!
Now, here's the cool thing. The Nick Fury that we see and the Scarlet Witch that we see is from the 1602 comic series.
Oh.
Last season we had the zombies. This season we get 1602.
Right.
Which I thought was amazing, by the way. That was a great surprise.
I was going to say, the Nick Fury that comes out in this one looks different from how he normally looks. But he doesn't sound different.
Right. And he won't.
I just do it with the way that he talks, or, other than the clothing.
Yep.
That he had on.
Yes.
And it was still pretty similar, too. It was still, to me, the Nick Fury that we all know and hate.
Sure. Yeah. Lady Death says, how did she know about the Watcher? She remembers the Watcher from the first time she was pulled out of her universe into the Guardians of the Multiverse from season 1. So this is still the same Captain Carter from that universe that she got pulled from to help with that. And now she's in 1602. So the portal that opened up obviously has something else to do with what's going on, which we'll find out later on. Because if you notice that portal that opened up, it kind of looked like a portal that opened up like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
See, that was instantly my first thought.
Yeah.
That was instantly my first thought. But then I thought of Natasha Romanoff when she was the Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
In her own series. I can't remember the name of it now because I almost never watched it.
Yep.
And I thought about that because obviously, she showed up next to Fury.
Yes.
And I was like, interesting.
So, let's see. This is episode 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see.
Well, Micaiah says, I thought that was Doctor Strange next to the Scarlet Witch.
No, that was Nick Fury.
Yes, that was Mr. Fury.
It was Nick Fury. So
you have to look close.
Because we're strapped for time, because we do have to get into the second episode. How many question marks do you give this episode?
Great episode. Loved the fight scenes and the surprise ending at the end that even made the watcher go, what the hell?
What?
4.5.
4? Nice. You and I are on the same.
I was very impressed by this episode.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page with that. I like it.
And Nikaya gives it 4.
Oh, hey, there you go. So, with that being said, like I said, we're on the same page. 4.5 stars from me. I thought it was fantastic.
I mean, and even though it was a very, 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 very fast-paced episode.
Yes. They got a lot of detail in there.
It wasn't overwhelming.
No, it was
It
just
wasn't
right.
overwhelming. They put little slow spots,
Yes.
which were the sexual tension moments in the show. They put those in at just the right moment where it gave you a chance to go,
Yay.
so. Nikaya says, I deducted points due to the creepy city.
That's no reason to deduct points. It's part of the story.
Hey, she can deduct points whenever she
true.
wants, just like I deducted points for ripping off Die Hard.
That is
Last
true. So now we go in, yeah, but and that was funny too. So now we get into episode 6, which is what if Kahori reshaped the world?
Now I think the title is wrong.
Why is that?
It should start out, what the fuck? What if?
So before the episode started, I brought this up because Lady Death and you
Yes.
both messaged me about the same exact thing.
Yes.
Who is Kahori and why is she important? I will tell you. Kahori is not, I repeat, is not an original Marvel Comics character.
I didn't think so.
She has
Because
never.
the only cartoon Indian character that I can think of was in Chuck.
Warpath.
Really big. I can't think of his name.
Warpath from X-Men.
Okay.
You have
Yeah, him.
Warpath, well, X-Force anyway. But Kahori was created specifically as a brand new superhero for not only the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but for the Marvel Comics.
Really?
Yes.
When was she created?
Specifically for What If.
So just recently she was.
This
created,
is
so it
her
was
first appearance ever.
right. So it was created. It was a post Stan Lee thing.
Yes.
Okay. I was curious.
Now, with that being said, I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm not a big fan of subtitles. I'm not. But
Me either.
but this was so well done, so eloquently done. Wow, holy crap, I can't talk. Eloquently done.
Right.
In
Close enough.
conjunction with the who was the Native Americans?
Oh, it was the Sioux tribe.
Yes.
I'll confirm that.
It was all over. It was all over this episode. This was made in conjunction with them to create their own superhero, which I thought was amazing. And I loved it. Now, with this being said, this episode,
Cherokee.
awesome. This episode, okay, has to do with the ramifications of Ragnarok.
Yes.
Okay?
Weird spin. Really, really, really freaking weird spin. But now knowing why, I can understand it.
Yes. Because what happens is Ragnarok happens in many, many, many different realities. Odin entrusts the Tesseract to a village on Earth.
Correction. Mohawk. She's a Mohawk woman.
Hmm.
But it was a Cherokee. The person that drew her is a Cherokee Nation citizen.
Okay. So that's
But she
awesome.
is a Mohawk.
Now, in this, Odin entrusts the Tesseract to this village. And after the destruction of Asgard, the Watcher says this could lead to new wonders from something in the past, that the Tesseract survived Ragnarok and has found a new home. Which to me tells me that anything can happen with those Infinity Stones. And I mean anything can happen. Even
Yes.
in the main timeline.
Right.
I know I'm going to butcher this, so I'm just going to do my best. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy, which is where Kohiri and her brother Wata grew up. Where is it? They're out of the northeastern U.S.
There you go.
and southeastern Canada. So yay to that.
So Maine, New York, Massachusetts, that area there.
That whole thing. Lady Death says that this is her favorite episode, and
It is definitely moved up in the rankings for me, as well, especially now knowing why and what. So it is definitely moved up in the rankings.
for like the episode itself, or just the story.
Yeah. Well, just for its standing in in order of favorite episodes and everything, because it was that bottom before you revealed the information that you revealed.
Okay, so basically just went whoop, up the hill, and hey, here you are.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Here's what happened. The two of them are racing throughout a field, and they come upon an old battlefield. And Wata warns his sister, Kahori, that the elder said you're not supposed to go near it. It's cursed. There's things here it's forbidden. Don't do it. So much bloodshed and all of that.
Yeah, and she's like, well, the reason that it's cursed is because the land was never purified after the war.
Right. Well, not just
So,
after the war, but just in general.
Right. Well, and it's neat how they give the background to it.
Right.
And everything, and they do it in a very neat way. I hate subtitles with a freaking passion. I usually will not watch anything with subtitles, but knowing we're doing this, I had to watch the episode.
Yes.
I'm glad I did, but trying to read and watch
it's very difficult
at the same time and not miss things. Because I saw when I rewatched it tonight, I saw things that I missed the first time I watched it.
Like what?
Just little things, skeletons in the background, things floating and things like that, not really major things, but just minor things that to me added to the episode and or the scene.
Okay. Makes sense.
So I'm not crazy about the subtitles, that's for sure.
And that's fine. That's one of those things that it happens,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the the main story with this is that there's a forbidden lake, and it contained a great power from the sky world, which, if you think about it, is technically the Tesseract from the destruction of Asgard and Ragnarok.
And when it landed, it shattered into pieces and spewed its space energy.
Yes.
All over.
If that's how you want to,
That's pretty much how they described it.
Yes.
In the episode, was that it when it shattered when it hit, and so the space energy and magic that was within the Tesseract
Yes.
was sent flying everywhere.
Basically just went all over the place, and hey, here you go, I'm throwing up all this space magic. Well, they called it
Space
the
magic,
Sky
that's
World,
what they called it.
and the people fought to control the lake.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like how they said it was something that should have brought them together, tore them apart,
which happens on a day-to-day basis these days. It really does. It's a day-to-day basis. Even today, it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Watson said that the big, strong, muscly people went into the lake, and it ate them whole and never brought them back and kept them to themselves. Now it's probably more like a puddle than anything. This is what he's saying to his sister. Well, from there they hear a gunshot. And that gunshot came from the conquistadors, who were now attacking their village.
Yep. The good old conquistadors.
Oh, it's so... Like, to me, it kept with some type of historical value, because conquistadors were there, they were doing whatever they needed to. When Kahori tried to distract one, she got shot, and she fell into the lake, which took her to the sky world. Makes sense. That's where all the people are. But it was interesting because while she was there, she was startled by a member of her tribe that had disappeared, Atarax. And he welcomed her. Hey, welcome aboard. Nice to see you. Enjoy the wonderful sky world that we're in. And she went, huh. So Uatu comes into play and says that after the fall of Asgard, the Tesseract took on second life here among the ancestors, released the Space Stone energy, giving its power to the lake. So basically, if anybody went into it, they would disappear, and, they're in like an alternate reality type world.
The one thing that I found interesting, I hate to push back a little bit, but I do think it has bearing on it, is when they first got to the Forbidden Lake, Watu says, that's not a lake, it's a puddle.
Yeah.
Because the real lake was underneath. And he literally says, the puddle was a decoy with decoy ducks.
Yes. The decoy ducks. Yes.
And I didn't think about it during the first time I watched it. But if you watch the ducks closely, the movements that they make are robotic.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're fake.
They're nowhere near natural. But from a distance, when you're already terrified because you're in a place you're not supposed to be, that's supposedly cursed and blah, 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 and everything else, it's going to look natural to you.
Yes.
Very natural. I thought that was very cool.
Yes. And
how they found the lake was they were running from the conquistadors that were chasing them, and they stepped on it in a hole, and it broke through, and they were running to hide, and there it was.
Well, yeah.
So.
And I thought it was very interesting because the conquistadors were looking for this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not only
I think we found what we were looking for.
Yeah. But they were also looking for the main power from it too.
Right.
How they came about knowing it, I don't remember if they actually went into detail, but
it was the legend of the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
The legend of the Fountain of Youth that they were looking for it.
Yeah. So from there, Rodrigo introduces himself and he's come to claim it in Queen Isabella's name, and that he had heard of their legends and the tribespeople fear the land and its power, but we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it.
And that's where he reveals that they are looking for the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Makes sense. But back at the Sky World, however, Atarax told Kahori that the land wants to help her, and she starts to develop powers. Because she can see that all the ancestors that are in the Sky World have achieved these special powers. And it
they
helps
have this
them.
Interesting blue glow to them.
Yeah. Which I thought was awesome, by the way.
Kind of creepy. Kind of creepy to start with. But then, because he revealed that, as we stayed here and we drank the water, we ate the food from the land, and we ate the creatures that drank the water and ate the food from the land and everything else, we took part of the Tesseract, the space magic, into their bodies. Which is going to do what? It's going to start blending with their DNA and everything else and give them some of that magic.
Right. Which will be good.
Yeah. It's the opposite of, drinking all the crap that's in the ground here that will, give you cancer and kill you.
Right. and the other thing that they mentioned here is that because they're in the Sky World,
yes,
they are trying to tell her, you need to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Feel
the planet wants to help you.
Yeah, feel the power from this place. This is going to make you better.
Yeah, I like the way that he put that, was that, the planet, as she's climbing the tree, trying to get to the hole in the sky that leads back to her other world, he's like, hey, the planet wants to help you. Just slow down, feel it, let yourself start to understand it, because even breathing the air, you're breathing in some of this.
Right.
And that kind of thing. So it was very interesting how they did this, not just how they introduced the character, but how they introduced how she got her powers and, and everything else. It was very, very well thought out and very well planned.
Yes.
In my opinion.
And the other thing is, now that she knows about this and she's learning about these powers, she's also trying to leave. She's trying to leave the Sky World because her people need her. And she's also trying to convince the others as she's learning, hey, I need to leave. You need to come with me. Our people need us. So as they're developing things and as they're moving along, she keeps failing to leave the Sky World. But she's also developing her powers and saying, listen, this is not a paradise.
Right.
This is just someplace to hide.
This is a prison.
A prison, yes.
Were her exact words. This is not paradise. This is a prison.
This is a prison. Well, from there, they start to go out on what's called a hunt for the Sky World fruit.
Well, hang on. You're skipping over the funniest part of the whole episode.
You mean falling out of the tree?
Falling out of the tree. As she's doing this, and Akataka, whatever the hell his name is. I'm just going to call him Mr. A.
Out of Hark.
Yeah, him. Um, he's continuously talking to her and everything, and as she's elevating these sticks and stuff and trying to use those as steps to get to the hole in the sky. And it was funny because you realize, because he does say that many people have tried before.
Yes.
And he actually goes, the record is 14 steps.
Yes.
But she tries and she keeps falling. I mean, they had to have her land on that friggin' limb like 5 times.
All over. Every time.
And then, she's finally chilling out a little bit and they're talking, and then you hear the horn blast in the distance, signifying that the hunt was getting ready to begin.
Yes.
But that was the funniest part of this entire episode, was her struggle to try to get to the hole in the sky. Hilarious. Sorry to derail you there, but I had to get that in because it was funny as hell.
That's okay. Because from here, we see what else she's learning. And we see, as they're on this hunt for the world fruit, the sky world fruit,
Mm-hmm.
he tells her how the hunt works. Think of it as more like a game. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And she says to him, why don't you just pick it up?
Why don't we just walk out there and pick it?
Just walk out there, pick it up, and be done with it. And he says, because it wouldn't be fun. Which makes perfect sense.
Makes sense to me. Where's the fun in that? Shit.
And then he tells her, hey, listen, just so you know, these are more like, big giant bison. They could be
I like grumpy. How he said, go ahead, I'm sorry.
They could be grumpy at first when
I love that line.
Getting woken up.
And when you look they look like a cross between a hippo, a rhino, a bull, and a triceratops.
Yes. With tusks.
I mean, one of the ugliest creatures I have ever seen in my life. And that's after seeing my face in a mirror.
Right? Well, he tells her that the trick is to go over them, not in front of them.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense. You want to be able to do that. That's where you'll see the fruit. That's how you'll be able to do what you need to do. And as they're running, Kahori realizes that she's running faster than everybody else.
All of a sudden, she takes off and she just flies.
Yeah.
And she's like, how do you stop? He's like, just stop.
Stop. And when she stops, the telekinesis, she used her telekinesis to take the fruit.
Well, she flipped the bowl.
Yes, she did. She flipped one of them, but the telekinesis was, she had gotten, what was it? It was like a record of the world fruit all at once because of her telekinesis.
Right. When they were getting together at the end, and the one girl had gotten 12.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, wait a minute, where's Kohiri? And you just see all of their eyes get as big as saucers, and he turns around and here she comes. Her hands like this. And there's probably 20, 25, maybe 30 of these space fruits.
Yes.
Floating in the air.
Yes. Absolutely.
Which, I mean, it was pretty cool when you think about it. The thing's got all these fruits on itself, and it gets flipped over and lands on its back. What's going to happen? Well, all those space fruits are going to go.
It's all going to pop out, do whatever. Yep. Do whatever. By this time, though, I would say we're about halfway through the episode. And as impressive as her learning her powers are in the sky world, back on Earth at the Forbidden Lake, Rodrigo, who's in charge of the conquistadors, he's in awe with the power and says, I need the first slice of immortality.
Who wants the first slice of immortality?
But
Because he never actually goes in the lake.
no, he doesn't.
He never actually steps foot in the lake. He says, which of you wants the first slice of immortality? And they like 8 guys go rushing past him.
Which we see, not only do they go rushing into the water, but that's when we see that the lake is starting to pull them in.
As Watu put it, the lake was eating them.
Yes, the lake
I love how he said that. The lake ate them.
The lake got hungry. And what happened from there is that once Rodrigo ordered the rest of them to put the tribes people in chains, we need to go to Spain.
Here, you have a quarter, you have a dime.
Yep. Don't forget the nickel.
Yeah, the kid gets the nickel.
Yep, there you go. So from that, they, now they're going to bring them home to Spain as slaves.
Yep.
Luis and the rest of the conquistadors get sucked up, and they can't believe that they've actually survived, that they are now in the sky world and saying, hey, can you imagine the treasure that could be here?
Yep.
Think about it.
Well, you think about it, they're basically pirates.
Yeah.
They're conquistadors for the queen and everything else, but at the same time, they're basically pirates, and what do pirates look for? Treasures, bounties.
They look for some weird shit is what they do.
Right.
They look for some weird shit, that's for sure. Well, they just so happen to fall into the sky world when the natives are celebrating after such a successful hunt.
Mm-hmm.
That now we have an issue. Because the conquistadors try to attack the sky people.
Bad guys always got to ruin the party.
Always. And Kahiri prevented that and said what they had done with not only her people, but to her brother as well.
Right.
And everybody else, Adaharks tries to stop her, like, hey, no, don't do this. And she's like, no, I need to go.
Yeah. Well, she got mad because she found Watu's necklace.
Wata. Not Uatu.
Or Wata, whatever.
Wata.
You know me in names, dude. Give me credit for remembering that it started with a W.
So,
but she found his necklace on one of them.
Yes.
And that pissed her off again.
Well, I mean, can you blame her? That's her little brother.
No, hey, I totally understand that. I would react the same way.
So what she also says is, even though this has made them the spirit, the spirit of the sky world has made us stronger, gave us gifts. We now need to use that gift. They've gotten comfortable here, but it's time to go. And she did not want to forget about her brother and the rest of her village.
Right.
And
basically, she said that they've gotten weak.
And
as they've gotten stronger.
Yeah. But then she did the cool thing and she pulled the portal.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Which goes to show how much she has learned from this. And says, it's time to go. And she walks through.
Yep. Who's coming with me?
Who's coming with me? You're either going to do it or you're not.
It was the typical scene of who's coming with me, and they show the rest of the tribe, and they're all like,
yeah, all their heads were down.
The head just goes down in shame.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So once she returns back to Earth, she sees the damage that the conquistadors did to her village. Wata is captured. All the other tribes people are captured. And that's when she kind of goes ballistic.
I guess a nice way of putting it would be she loses her shit.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
She loses her shit.
Absolutely. So what happens there is now, as she's going after the conquistadors who captured everybody, she's trying to block cannonballs. One of them manages to strike her and knock her down. And Rodrigo tries to finish her off. But then, in the distance, the sky people come running. And I'm not just saying, hey, we're going to, trot along here. No, no, no. They are running.
Well, it was neat how they did that, though. Nakai mentioned the horror story feel earlier when we were talking in episode 5. This had the horror story from hell feel to it because the cannonball knocked her out, and he went up to her and he pulls his sword out and he's going to cut her head off, and he looks up and all you see is all these sets of blue eyes,
blue lights
in the darkness of the woods.
Yeah. Blue lights everywhere, and it was amazing.
Yes, it was. And then they came running out. Real quick, Western Echo says, my last comment for today is pronounced conquistadors.
I don't give a shit.
But he's been saying conquist. I've been saying conquist.
But thank you for the correction. I appreciate it. I do.
No problem.
I just don't care.
We're trying to help you improve yourself.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. We could try.
After all these years, yeah, not gonna happen.
We could try all we want, but the good thing is they all get defeated by the tribespeople, and everybody gets saved, which is awesome sauce. But it's not over. And what I mean by that is in Segovia, Spain, at Alcazar, right? Alcazar, I believe that's the castle.
Something like that.
I think that's how to pronounce it. Not 100% sure, and I won't pretend that I do know it.
Right.
A royal advisor tells Queen Isabella of the unfortunate news of what happened at the battle. And the queen was not amused. In fact, she was angry. So angry that she said that her soldiers were unmatched and there's no fleet that's unrivaled.
Yep.
And then she asked what nation was stealing from her claims and who challenged her, and out of nowhere, Kohiri and the Sky People appeared. And she said that she saw the queen's face on the coin. And the queen asked her if she felt threatened and if she threatened her in her own court. And Kohiri said that she's not here for her throne and that the world is richer than she can imagine. But it's not the queen's to claim.
Right. Actually, I think she said that it wasn't hers or the queen's. It wasn't either of theirs to claim.
Right.
Which I thought was really cool.
That was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. It was powerful. Because in reality, she just changed history right there.
Right.
She really did. She just changed history.
Right.
So Kohiri also said that she believes the tribespeople's health depends on the queen's health, and the queen said that their magic doesn't scare her and that she was ordained to rule her and her people.
Yep.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
It keeps in line with exactly the way they thought back in those days.
But this is when she uses her telekinesis to lift up the queen. And after the queen going on a tirade to put me down, crying like a little girl,
drops her like a
Kohiri said that her and the tribespeople will make peace. or there will be no future for her people.
Right.
And at that point in time, we see Doctor Strange arrive. Not just any Doctor Strange, the Supreme. Doctor Strange Supreme. You know, the same one that, I don't know, tried to destroy his own universe by saving one person.
You know, the one that has sour cream added to it.
Yeah, absorbing all those demons and monsters and all of that good stuff. Remember him from season 1? I certainly do. But Strange was impressed with what was going on and said, I'm glad you're achieving world peace in record time. I've been looking for you. Come with me.
I've been looking for you for a long
time. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
That's the end of the episode. So, not a lot of callbacks, really, aside from Ragnarok, Odin, and the Tesseract. This was a 100% original story with new characters. And I'm just putting this out there. They didn't change ethnicities. They didn't create the character to be gay or straight.
Right.
They should have they created a brand new character.
And you know, the reset I was in some of the articles I was reading earlier as I was looking for the runtime and stuff. The reaction to this new character has been off the wall. Everybody loves her and what they're doing and everything, except of course, you know, you have your, you know, not happy unless they're bitching about something people out there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's been almost nothing but positive feedback on the character.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Which is good, you know. I mean, I thought for sure you'd have this is the same thing as the football team is being named after, you know, tribes and blah 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 and all that other crap.
And don't get me started on that. That's a different subject.
Yeah. So, and I'm happy to see that at this point they're not really getting that.
Yes.
So
now, because we got to end. How many what if question marks do you give this episode?
You're first.
Oh, that's right. I am first. I am actually going to give this 5 question marks.
Really?
Yes. I loved the story.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Even though we had to read closed captioning. We had to read the subtitles. I don't understand Native American. I'm sorry. I just don't.
Well, not only a Native American, but French as well.
I know a little bit of French.
Whatever language the conquistadors spoke.
Spanish.
Okay.
Spain.
I don't know, dude. My history sucks. Okay, my history is just as good as my math.
Yep. I love that they created a brand new character. Yeah. And this has nothing to do with representation. It really doesn't. In my opinion, I think this character can go a very long way in Marvel Comics. And I think it can go a very long way in the MCU, too.
Right.
4.5 for the closed captions. Okay. I got you, Echo. I got you.
Nikaya's giving it 4 3/4.
And what are you giving it, my friend?
So we got a 4.5, 4 3/4, and a 5.
Really?
Well, no. I'm saying so far, Echo gave it a 4.5. Nikaya gave it 4 3/4. You gave it a 5.
Yep.
Originally, I'll be honest. Originally, my score on this was going to be like a 2.5 because it made no sense to me in the scheme of things, of why they would go off on such a wild tangent with this storyline. It was a good storyline. I enjoyed it, but I did not understand what was going on. Now that I know
Yes.
the reasons behind this, great way to introduce a brand new character. The fact that they collaborated with the Cherokee Nation peoples, and they actually had real Indian people that they talked to and collaborated with and helped them with this, and are helping them with this character.
Yep.
Superb.
Nice.
Great storyline. Great storyline. The legend of the Fountain of Youth and blah, 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 and everything else, showing how the conquistadors treated the natives and everything else. I like the fact that they stayed true to reality of what reality was back in that day. I love the fact of how they talked about, the true thing of what Indians talked about, the stories that they told, staying close to the bones of their elders and blah, 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 and all that good stuff. I loved that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with 5.5.
Wow.
5.5.
5.5.
Excellent, excellent, excellent episode. No ifs, ands, or buts. Especially now knowing the story behind it. And the reasoning behind what they did. It elevates this story beyond anything that we've had to this point with the creation of a character and the way this character was introduced.
Yeah.
The backstory behind her, how she got her powers, how she became the leader of these people, and everything else. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Nice. Western Echo says, my 4.5 wasn't for closed captioning. I'm absolutely fine with those. Half off for the obligatory white people are the devil. We'd all be better if we lived off the land sentiments. And that's my Adam for you for tonight. LOL. From Lady Death. You're not wrong, but also that's what they thought too back then.
True.
I mean,
true. That was the life of the Indians, was to live off the land.
Yeah. So yes, true. But
and no, not true.
Not 100% true, but the fact of the matter is, historically speaking, the white man wiped them out and took their land.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that. That's history.
And that's why I say I like how they stayed relatively true to history. And the way that the natives thought, the way that the Spaniards and the conquistadors and the Queen thought, and those kind of things. It was nice that they stuck to it very, very closely. Instead of coming up with some wild off the cuff story to go with it.
Right.
So good stuff.
And
yeah, I can't believe I gave it a 5.5. I was like, what am I going to give this? Because it's a great freaking episode.
It was fantastic. I loved it. And I love
you
how
will
they
probably never hear me give a rating like that again.
Probably not. But I do like that how they tied it into
yes.
to Asgard and Ragnarok. Weston Echo, I'll message you the obligatory Spike clip about it later. Nice. Awesome. Well, my friends, that is our episode of Avenger Pretenders for this week, where we talked about episodes 5 and 6 of What If Season 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Disney Plus and Marvel do not sponsor this show, but it'd be pretty cool if they did. Not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be
even
pretty
if it was
happy.
a part-time sponsorship.
Yeah, hey, listen, it really is. But in the end, great episodes.
Yes.
Great episodes.
Yes.
We've got 3 left, which means next week we'll probably do all 3 next week.
Yep.
Just to
All
kind of
3
round it
episodes.
off, because we got to get into Echo after that. which I'm
Yep.
sure.
Where they introduced another Native American character.
Yes. Well, she's already been introduced in Hawkeye, so
True.
different story though. But
Yeah.
for the redneck himself, JT, I'm Sully. Have a great night, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week at 8 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget to check out the Sully Show tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Accidental Punch TV. We will see you all later. Have a great night. Be safe. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I ain't hold my beer.
Hold my beer.